The first time I saw them, my stomach actually dropped, not because of what they did, but because of what almost happened, because there's a moment burned into that stage where gravity itself seems to hesitate, like even the laws of physics needed a second to decide whether they were going to let this happen or not, and right there, under those blinding lights, with millions of people watching, it felt like we were all holding our breath together, waiting to see if history was about to be made, or shattered. I remember thinking, this can't be real. No way, not on live TV. Not in front of America. And yet there they were. V.Unbeatable walking onto the stage of America's Got Talent, calm faces, quiet confidence, like they were carrying a secret the rest of us weren't ready for yet. The crowd was excited, sure, but there was also that familiar buzz of doubt, the kind that always follows viral hype. Another dance crew, another group claiming to be different. I could almost hear people at home rolling their eyes, fingers hovering over the remote, ready to skip. And before I go any further, I need to stop right here, because this part matters. I've been reading through your comments on the last few videos, and I see some of you calling out the drama. I see the words, overhyped, scripted, TV magic, and honestly, I get it. I really do. In a world full of staged reality shows, fake reactions, and AI-generated stories that feel empty the second you think about them, it's hard to know what's real anymore. I felt that same skepticism when I first saw this clip. I thought, okay, here we go again. But then I went deeper. I didn't just watch the highlight. I went back to the raw footage, the rehearsal clips, the interviews, the moments that didn't make it into the polished TV edit. And what I found didn't just change my mind. It broke me in a way I wasn't ready for. Because V.Unbeatable isn't just a dance crew. They're a survival story disguised as a performance. Most people watching from their couches in the US see flying bodies, insane flips, and perfectly timed landings. What they don't see is where these kids come from. Mumbai, crowded streets, rooftops that double as practice floors, homes where space is a luxury and dreams feel like a risk. Many of them grew up with nothing resembling formal dance training. No fancy studios, no safety mats, just concrete, sweat, scraped skin, and an obsession with movement that refused to die. Dance wasn't a hobby for them. It was an escape. It was a way out of a life that kept telling them to stay small. And here's where the story starts tightening its grip. Their signature move, the one that made people scream, cry, and cover their eyes, wasn't designed for television. It was born out of necessity. Human pyramids because there was no equipment. High-risk jumps because there was no money for props. Trust falls taken to an extreme because, in their world, trusting your teammate wasn't optional. It was survival. So when they stepped onto that AGT stage, smiling, bowing, acknowledging the judges, it wasn't nerves you were seeing. It was discipline, the kind forged by years of knowing that if one person messes up, everyone pays for it. The music starts, the lights shift, and suddenly the mood in the room changes. You can feel it through the screen. This isn't playful. This isn't cute. This is serious. Bodies start moving like clockwork, fast, sharp, relentless. Then comes the first lift. Clean. The second. Higher. The crowd starts reacting, but there's still this tension in the air, like everyone senses something bigger is coming. And then it happens. The move that made half of America scream, nope, at their TVs. A dancer is launched. Not tossed. Launched. He spins through the air like a missile aimed straight at fear itself, and for a split second, he disappears above the stage lights. You can see the judges lean forward. You can see hands fly to mouths. And I swear, time slows down. Because if this goes wrong, it goes really wrong. He lands. Perfectly. The theater explodes. Screams, cheers, disbelief. And that's the version most people saw. The viral clip. The jaw-dropper. The moment that flooded TikTok with reaction videos and sent Twitter, or X, into a frenzy. This should be illegal, one tweet screamed. AGT will never top this, another claimed. On Reddit, threads blew up arguing whether this was talent or just reckless danger. TikTok was chaos, split between awe and fear, with comments like, I can't even watch this without anxiety, right next to, this is the greatest performance in AGT history. But here is the part that truly broke the internet, and most people missed it. Behind the scenes, this performance almost didn't happen. During rehearsals, one of the core members took a fall. Not a dramatic TV fall. A real one. The kind where the room goes quiet. The kind where everyone freezes because they know what could have happened. No camera angles. No dramatic music. Just panic and pain. Doctors were called. The crew was shaken. And for a moment, the dream they had carried across continents hung by a thread. This is the first layer of the reveal. The performance you saw was already a victory before it ever aired. They had a choice. Simplify the routine. Remove the most dangerous elements. Play it safe. No one would have blamed them. In fact, most producers would have encouraged it. But V.Unbeatable didn't come all that way to be safe. They came to be honest. Honest about who they are, where they come from, and what it costs to be seen. So they adjusted, not by lowering the risk, but by tightening the trust. Every move rehearsed again and again. Every jump measured down to inches. Every catch drilled until muscle memory took over fear. Layer 2 hits when you realize the smiles on stage weren't for show. They were relief. They were gratitude. They were the faces of people who knew they were dancing on borrowed seconds. As the competition went on, the stakes got heavier. Social media started turning. Some fans demanded they win. Others accused the show of exploiting them. This is dangerous, not entertainment, one Reddit comment read. They're risking their lives for ratings. On X, arguments raged late into the night. Was this art, or was it pressure dressed up as opportunity? And I know what you're thinking. Where were the judges in all this? Watching from the panel, you could see the concern etched into their faces, especially Simon Cowell *, who's seen just about everything this show can throw at him. He wasn't just judging technique. He was weighing risk against reward, passion against responsibility. And when he spoke, it wasn't just praise. It was respect mixed with worry. Layer 3 is where things get personal. For the crew, this wasn't about winning a trophy. It was about rewriting their future. Prize money meant studios back home. Training for younger kids. Proof to families who once doubted them that dance could be more than a dream. That it could be a lifeline. Some of them had parents who thought dancing was a waste of time. Others had neighbors who laughed. Some were told flat out they'd never leave their streets. And yet here they were, standing on one of the biggest stages in the world, forcing millions of strangers to look twice. Halfway through the season, right after one of their most emotional performances, that's when I want to say this to you directly. If you're still here, if you're still watching, that tells me something about you. It tells me you care about real stories, not just flashy clips. So if you haven't already, this is one of those moments where subscribing actually matters. Not for numbers, but because stories like this get buried if we don't keep telling them. Turn on notifications, because what comes next is even heavier. Layer 4 is the moment most fans don't know about at all. After one performance, backstage footage caught a quiet scene. No cheering, no cameras in faces, just the group sitting together, some stretching, some staring at the floor. One member wipes his eyes. Another puts a hand on his shoulder. They weren't celebrating. They were decompressing, processing the fact that they had just survived something that could have ended everything. This wasn't adrenaline anymore. This was emotional exhaustion. And yet, when they stepped back out into the spotlight, America saw nothing but confidence. By the time the finals approached, the pressure was unbearable. Fans were begging them not to do the dangerous moves. Others were demanding something even bigger. TikTok comments said things like, "If they top this, I don't know how," and "I'm scared for them but I can't look away." The crew was trapped between expectation and instinct. And now we reach the fifth and final layer. The one that changes how you see everything. In interviews after the show, one member admitted that every time they went airborne, he thought about his mother watching back home. Not cheering, praying. Another said he accepted the risk long before AGT, because where he grew up, risk was daily life. The stage didn't create the danger. It just revealed it. That's the secret no one was ready for. V.Unbeatable wasn't risking their lives for television. They were showing the world the reality they already lived. So when people say, "This is too much," or "This shouldn't be allowed," I understand that fear. But I also ask you this. If your entire life had been about defying limits just to be seen, just to survive, wouldn't you dance the same way? That final performance wasn't about winning. It was a message. We're here, we exist, and we are more than what you expected. So now I want to hear from you. Did their performance inspire you, or did it scare you? Do you think talent should have limits, or is pushing past them the whole point? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is bigger than a show, bigger than a stage, and honestly, bigger than all of us.